communication is very important because I think communication is the key. I think most of us we start the relationships in a toxic way. I can tell about um, my relationship that I have it now. We started very affected by others and maybe hurting each other by being hurt before, but by communicating, we achieve like a trust in I don't know, a bond that I wasn't expecting. To be honest, I wasn't
So
expecting that.
let me ask you this question, Mioka, because I hear this whole, everything boils down to communication,
You know,
communication.
it is. It's actually, of course, it's also like Monique or Miranda said. It was about accountability because I've been before my husband that I have it now, my fiance. I've been with a guy for years, and he was never taking accountability for nothing, like really nothing. Even if I have everything black on white, he will say no. That is a very that is something very difficult that you cannot go forward in any relationship. You cannot build something when someone doesn't even recognize when it's wrong.
That's
Comparing with what I have now, yes, he did. My fiance, he did mistakes in the beginning. He did, but after he say, "I fucked it up. I want to be better." And that changed everything because after we were, talking and trying to figure out why you did that, what I did to you, what is coming this friends. And with time, we understood that this guy from someone else from before, and we are still having the fears from other relationships and our own issues, of course, our own, because everybody's having their own issues, right? I'm not going to say, oh, I'm perfect, and I'm not, because that would be ridiculous. I'm not that kind of person. But
where are you from, Bianca? You're
I'm from
you're in Spain
Romania.
or
No, Romania.
Romania?
I'm in
Okay.
Miami now, in Florida. I
Oh, I
live
see.
in Florida. Mm-hmm.
And your fiance is also
In New
Romanian or
York.
is he American?
New York. No, he's New
New
York.
York? He's
Yes.
American. Okay. Gotcha.
Yes.
Um, I wanted to go back to the question about times changing and is it for the better or is it for the worse? I don't think, was it Elena that didn't answer that one yet?
I mean, changed, but I see around me, I'm analyzing what's happening around me, and I see that the
Well,
time is
okay, so
changing.
why don't we
The
do
thing
this then,
is that,
Bianca? Since we've already got you on, so you're from Romania, very Christian country, Christian Orthodox,
yes, yes,
typically,
with rules.
traditional. Do you think
Yes,
that times have changed for the better today, or have they changed for the worse
no, no.
when it comes
For
to long-term relationships, dating, that kind of stuff?
change. No, it changing worse. It's not what I wanted to live, but that
What's
means that
worse
you have
about
to.
the dating today?
Well, dating. I don't. First of all, guys and men they start having the very superficial attitude and impression about women, and they actually try and actually treat a lot of women with a lot of like superficiality, like very superficial, like they
In
okay,
what
they take
sense?
you
Can you be
one,
specific?
like they don't appreciate the beauty anymore. They don't, most of them. I'm not talking about my
What do you
fiance.
mean they
This
don't
is
appreciate the beauty?
appreciate, like for example, bring a flower to a woman without a reason just because she is
Bringing
bringing
flowers?
you. Yes, why not? Just an intention of bringing a smile on someone's face. Trust me, means more than
Romance.
anything.
Romance.
So romance and see, that's
It's not
that's one of
even
the
romance.
struggles that
It's not even romance. It's just to
Okay, hear me out for a
give
sec. I
some
think I understand what you're
attention,
saying.
to appreciate.
Gotcha,
No, that doesn't
gotcha,
exist
gotcha.
these days.
There's a lot of guys out there who I
Uh,
think are giving you attention just because of attractiveness. I'm sure there's a lot of guys in your
But they're
comments
probably
or
invisible to you.
sliding in your DMs, sending you fire emojis and heart eye
and I don't
emojis.
have time for that story. No, no, I don't have
Right,
time
because
for
those
this.
guys are invisible to you. So what you're saying when you say that is you want the romance, you want the flowers from the guys that you already like. But I think that what a lot of guys have learned at this point in time
No,
in
I
this
have it
modern,
now.
society.
It's not about
No,
that I want something. I have it. It's about what I experienced before. And I've
Yeah,
seen
I got you.
guys, someone inviting you out and not even asking you, hey, would you need a Uber or car? Like, what I want to go and see a stranger and spend my own money when you have to be the gentleman at least, make a minimum effort
I mean,
of
there's lot.
being the man, you know what I mean? Like, excuse
I
me,
mean,
we
there's a
talk about
lot to
$20. It's not
unpack
about that
there.
I don't have $20. It's about that I don't want to go, like, and I don't know, dressed of
Okay,
$2,000
okay.
clothes, put makeup, and do all these things, and someone doesn't even want, like, I don't know, pay a cocktail. That is a little bit. Sorry, I'm not going to.
Yeah. So what you're
But
asking for is a
respectfully, I'm
traditional
prefer to say
man. Is that
no.
right?
I think that was the best time when the man was the man and the woman was the woman.
Sure, but you're asking for a traditional man that would do the traditional
Yes.
sorts of things and the
Yes.
romance and the flowers and all that sort of stuff. And I think that, men had done that for a number of years. And what they
And what?
figured
It
out
didn't
is that,
work?
what they figured out is that women don't generally respond positively to that. I think that men would love women to respond positively to flowers and romance and dinners and kindness and all that sort of stuff, but they don't respond positively to that.
Can I interject here?
Yeah, hop in.
Please.
Women want that traditional type romance and those traditional type roles without fulfilling being the traditional woman themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the point that I was going to get to, is that women want traditional men, but they're not traditional women themselves. They want to be with a giant that's romantic and going to buy them flowers on holidays and anniversaries, but they used to get traditional women when they did that. They used to get, like an agreeable virgin
Traditional woman.
on their marriage day. Now they don't get that anymore.
Traditional woman, I don't know about others. Pretty traditional.
Well, you're asking, Bianca,
adapting
like, let's be
myself.
honest here. You're asking for a traditional man to do traditional things, but that would require that you be a traditional woman yourself. You have culinary skills. You're a pure virgin. You don't bring any baggage to the table. Like, this is what a traditional man would look for
That is
to
not
commit to a woman
happening.
like that. Of course, it's not happening. So
We're going in extreme.
why should you expect that from men then?
We're going in
How is that an extreme?
It's extreme because let's be
That's
honest.
not extreme.
Who's virgin today? Come on.
What do you think is more realistic?
They want him to be. You want him to be a feminist,
But of course, I'm not a feminist. I'm not a feminist.
Rich, do you own goats?
Do I own what? Sorry.
Do you have goats?
No. Why would I have that?
Do you have goats and land to provide to a virgin's father or your next girlfriend? Like when it's time to consummate marriage and take someone's virginity, do you have a bunch of goats and land to offer?
I'm thinking
I could certainly offer that. Yeah.
So good
That's
for
not
you.
difficult to do for me. I got lots of money.
You bless.
He's got the money to do it.
Amazing. That is something to appreciate.
But I mean,
I hope you got
ladies have to understand that you're asking for traditional values from guys that have gotten to the point where it's like, well, why would I invest in
take
that?
it that way. What means a traditional woman for you? Just to be virgin? Because
Well, that's one of the most important things for a guy at marriage.
Or a 14.
We
I don't even think you
that.
find a 13 or a 14 virgin this time.
Why are you getting so upset at that, Bianca?
I'm not upset. I'm just trying to explain a traditional woman doesn't mean just someone that is virgin. Can be someone that is
you're making demands. You're making demands for women, but you're unwilling to provide what men value. You're saying women value romance.
How you know that
women
I am
will value flowers,
to provide
but you don't care what men value.
Excuse me?
But you don't care what men value?
What men value? So I know what men value because my husband is telling me what he value about myself.
One at a time, please, ladies. One at a time.
They value a man, in my opinion, what I heard from my man is like he's appreciating and value the peace that I gave him, the stability, the fact that he's coming in a beautiful house that I'm taking care of, like it's our temple, like you feel peace there. You come in that house and you leave all the problems at the door and you feel peace, you feel safe, you feel home. That I think is a traditional woman that can offer something today. It's not about who's virgin and who's not virgin, or how many guys you fuck. That's not about that. That is so superficial. If my
So
man is telling me,
stop,
if
stop,
my
stop,
man is
stop,
telling
stop,
We're
me,
stop,
not
stop, stop,
17
stop,
years old.
stop,
We're not 17.
stop,
People got
stop,
married when they were
stop,
15. Like nobody's a
stop.
virgin at 36 years old.
Okay, so why is it that ladies today are making all of these traditional demands of men, but they're unwilling or unable to provide what men value?
How can you undo having sex?
How are you speaking on what all of men value? The only thing you've mentioned that you think is a value is a virginity. So do you prefer a 17-year-old or a 36-year-old? Because the only thing you've mentioned is virginity. So what do you value about women besides her being a virgin?
Well, you
what
tell
do you
me,
value about
Monique.
women besides virginity? How old are you? How many women your age are virgins? How many women your age are virgins? So if you're talking about selling goats to go get a 17-year-old, then we're on the same page. But we're
Are we
all
going to go full retard here, or are we going to have a real conversation?
I've got a master's degree, and I see a couple retards in here, and I ain't one of them.
How many guys have looked at your master's degree, Monique, and said, "Oh, that's hot. I love that degree, framed in mahogany with little letters after your name. That's sexy." How many guys?
You know what? I don't care about what other guys think.
None. So how many guys? So how many guys, when they look at you in a bathing suit, look at the beauty?
On my finger thinks. That's who I care about. What he thinks. This guy who.
Okay. Now I want to see your.
Okay, we're just going to mute her because she won't stop talking. And we're going to mute Bianca as well, because I'm going to get my word in here, because getting interrupted gets really frustrating. So let's go back to the top here. Are you ready, ladies? Are you ready, audience? We're making demands for things of men. And then we're running off the track saying, "Oh, well, I can't provide that, or I don't want to provide that, or it's not necessary for me to provide that." What